post-debate, you've gotten pretty hard hit. And if you boil down the criticism on the various subjects, it's this: she lacks candor. When the questions get tough, she dodges. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I understand the necessity for criticism. We're getting toward the end of a very long presidential primary process, and I wasn't at my best the other night. We've had a bunch of debates, and I wouldn't rank that up in my very top list. But I've answered probably, I don't know, more than 5,000 questions in the last 10 months. And I've been very clear about where I stand and what I want to do for the country. I've laid out very specific plans on how we are going to have a different energy agenda, how we're going to have a health care plan that covers everybody, how we're going to improve our education system, and all of the other issues that people talk to me about, as well as what we need to do to restore America's leadership around the world. And I've even put out how I'm going to pay for each and every one of the policies that would cost money. So I'm very encouraged as I go around in these events in Iowa, New Hampshire, and elsewhere. People are hearing me. They are following this campaign. They understand the give and take of politics and the up and down of a campaign. But what I'm excited about is that people are saying, I really like your health care plan, or I'm excited by what you're doing with energy. And that seems to me to be what the campaign should be about.
Driver's license for illegal immigrants. You have said you broadly support what the governors are doing. Let me narrow that question down. If I wrote a story that said, absent a broad illegal immigration bill, Hillary Clinton agrees about giving driver's license to illegal immigrants, is that correct?
No, what I've said is that I support what governors are trying to do. And governors are on the front lines because of the failures to get comprehensive immigration reform. There are already 8 states that issue driver's licenses without any verification of citizenship. That's a decision that the governors and legislatures and the people of those states have made. I understand.
But you see why people think that you're not answering the question.
Well, but I think that if you go back and look at the complexity of this issue, I don't think a lot of these hard questions lend themselves to raising your hand. And I know that that's easier in a 30-second, context to try to do. I think the fact that governors are being forced into this position is really unfortunate. They should not be making immigration policy. The federal government should be making immigration policy. And that's what I'm going to try to do as president again. And I do not believe that in the context of federal immigration reform, that would be an issue that governors would have to contend with.
You said after the debate, I don't think that all of those men came after me because I'm a woman, but because I'm the front runner. Yet you have, there are 2 people out there who support you, Geraldine Ferraro, Eleanor Smeal, who said, look like the Anita Hill hearings. This is sexism. So this is a mixed message. It's the sort of thing that people look at and say, the Clinton campaign wants to have it both ways.
Well, I can only speak for myself. I am deeply grateful for the strong support that I have across the country. And a lot of people watching it reach their own conclusions and are certainly free to speak out. But I know that in a campaign where people are trying to score political points, and I am ahead, I'm going to be attacked. That's what happens in campaigns. I don't have any problem with that. If they want to use their energy attacking me, that's their choice. I'm going to use my energy focusing on a new energy policy and so much else. I'm not running anybody else's campaign. And I love what Harry Truman said, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, and I'm really comfortable in the kitchen.
Did talk to Joe Biden yesterday, and he said if he didn't win the nomination, he thought you would, and that he wouldn't be your vice president because essentially that's Bill Clinton, that he's a very strong guy, and that's going to be his role.
Well, that's going to be news to my husband as well as to me. I really like Joe Biden. I'm very, very fond of him and very much an admirer of his. When I get the nomination, I will begin to think about who the vice president should be. But I intend to use former presidents, including my husband. We have a lot of repair work to do around the world. The damage that has been done by the failed policies of this administration is heartbreaking and dangerous. So we're going to have to go about trying to restore America's leadership, restore credibility for America's moral authority and our values in the world. I certainly am going to ask my husband to help on that.
Last question, Pakistan. Nothing has changed. We're in our 4th day of a state of emergency. It seems to me that Musharraf can no longer be helpful in the pursuit of al-Qaeda. Now what?
Well, I oppose the imposition of emergency rule in Pakistan. I think that's been a mistake. You know, it's important for America to stand with the people of Pakistan against the efforts to destabilize the entire country, not just the Musharraf regime. But I believe that for President Musharraf to be silencing political opposition, trying to shut down a free press, imprisoning dissidents, is a terrible mistake, both for Pakistan, but also for our mutual interest in trying to root out, defeat, and deter al-Qaeda and related terrorist elements.
Sarah Clinton, thank you for sharing part of your voice with us.
Thank you so much, Candy. It's a pleasure to see you.
And Candy, I know you pressed her a little bit further on the whole issue of driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. What was the bottom line?
Well, the bottom line is it still seems a little confusing. I said, so you think these governors are right to go ahead and give driver's licenses to illegal immigrants? And she said, well, it depends on the state. So, you know, again, what they're trying to do is nuance this. You heard her say, listen, this just doesn't fit into a 30-second soundbite. I understand governors are under pressure, but she won't say whether she personally thinks this is a good idea.
And her voice did sound a little bit scratchy. Let's hope she feels better. Candy, thanks very much for that.